All right, I'm going to talk about my three favorite coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Stellar, and what I think is going on with pricing. First of all, Bitcoin, I've been surprised it's a little stronger than expected. I originally said, in January that I expected Bitcoin to hit 5,000, sort of that to be the floor. And, it could go below that. If you keep your eye open, you can buy at 3,000. But it has not hit. So we hit this low on February 4th, 6,900, let's say 7,000. It has not broken through that low again. On this drop that we just had yesterday, you can see here where we're at. I mean, things coming down, and this is after several days. Compare that to Ethereum, okay? 6 months, hit a low, now is much lower than that low. And you see that with most coins. Bitcoin has not hit this earlier low. So Bitcoin has been looking stronger than expected. But the downturn, my other prediction is that the downturn will be 3 to 6 months, which puts us in sometime April, May, or June, I would think we've hit bottom. Now again, the last downturn back after the Mount Gox collapse was almost 2 years. So it could be a really long time again. I feel like it wouldn't be because that was such a disaster when Mount Gox fell. I don't think we even have any disasters going on right now. It's just prices went up so far and people cashing out and consolidating and all that. So that's why I think it's only a 3 to 6 month show going down. And Bitcoin, I still think we see it in the 5,000s, or to sound like the people on Fast Money, I think we'll see a 5 handle on it. But nevertheless, who knows? Could this have been the low? I mean, this current plummet that we're sort of still in the middle of right now, it's been going on for a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce here. I mean, if you're dollar cost averaging in, today is a great day to buy your Ethereum, right? Because look at that. You would think around here somewhere we would see a bounce. Now, what I thought with Ethereum, although wait, let me finish with Bitcoin before we move to Ethereum. So the price is stronger. What else I want to say? Bitcoin, just the fundamentals, Lightning Network. When are people on the Lightning Network mainnet, not in test mode, actually putting real dollars on there? Just yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, they released this Lightning Networks is the name of the organization, LND. Some app has launched, which makes it easy, I believe. The bottom line is Lightning Network is moving forward, but it's hard to get timing on any of these things. When is something going to launch? Will it become viral? How will the adoption rate go? I'm very optimistic about it. It seems to be moving. That could start to affect the price if we see big adoption. Otherwise, it's just a matter of time for some of that huge run we had, people selling off what they want. So Bitcoin still right now is my favorite. What I said a few months ago still holds true. I think the best portfolio right now, 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, 30% Stellar. And I like Stellar a little more than Ethereum right now, actually. So I don't know if that 30-30 is right. But now let's talk about Ethereum. So Ethereum, what I originally said on Ethereum is I feel this 450 could be around the 400s is a low, and we see it hit 300. I still feel that's about true, but that means we're about to bounce here. Like if we don't bounce and go straight to 300, or in the 300s, I'm assuming that like today or tomorrow we're going to bounce around 450 or somewhere in the fours here and kind of come back and we middle along, and maybe someday it touches 3. We'll see. But this has been a pretty good dramatic fall here. If it keeps going, obviously I'm wrong on that theory. But as opposed to Bitcoin being stronger than expected, Ethereum's sort of on schedule here, assuming we get a bounce within a day or two. And with Ethereum, so one thing about Ethereum that I like. I mean, first of all, when it comes to the developer community, I don't know, compared to Bitcoin exactly, it might actually have a bigger community of top developers building on it. And one thing that's interesting about the decentralized space is stuff just launches. You don't even know it's coming. Well, this was one article I just read how, settling real securities on Ethereum. What banks were doing this? Uh, Someone from JP Morgan is structured notes. Um, I don't know how to summarize it, but the bottom line is real sort of Wall Street financial transactions settled on the Ethereum blockchain. It's not fully developed and anything yet, but it's coming. You see it coming. I like to see these kind of articles. Um, this is the other thing I like to see, and I see this in you see this in Bitcoin and other places where because it's decentralized, things just pop up all of a sudden. Loom Network has a toolkit for scaling Ethereum. Look, leapfrogging Raiden and Plasma. We know about Raiden, we know about Plasma. It's all in the news. All of a sudden, some new thing, never heard of, comes out. Is it better than these two? It's probably a little different. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the technical skills to really analyze. But there's always new things launching and happening that's really hard to predict on Ethereum. When CryptoKitties came out, not that that's going to change the world, but just like it's not like we knew it was coming. So Ethereum has the chance that just some app will go viral, something will launch that goes sort of viral and we don't see it coming. So you have that surprise effect that I like with Ethereum. And the big developer community, the technology is great. I love it long run. Price right now sucks, but that's and then transactions really have come off this high. I'm not sure what this is all about. Was it just CryptoKitties is why we had this big spike in transactions? Because I do like to see more transactions per day, but in the long run, by the way, this is Ethereum. I cut off the left side of the screen here. This is Ethereum transactions per day. It really spiked up and then has come down. I like to see that higher, but I think in the future where I feel that side chain transactions is where the action is, this I believe is only counting on the main chain. So in the long run, I'm not sure this chart works for me. I don't know where I would get total transactions, including on side chains. I don't know that that data is available. So that's what I think about Ethereum. Stellar. Um, so yes, I still love Stellar. Um, when it went parabolic like that, I got my portfolio was 80% Stellar. I did take some off and move it into Bitcoin. Thank God, right? Um, but I think this was relatively predictable. And again, what I was saying from the beginning is the smaller coins are going to fall further than Bitcoin. They sort of have fallen even more compared to Bitcoin than I expected. But actually, I don't know that Stellar or Ethereum has fallen more than I expected. Bitcoin has fallen less than expected. So this is a chart of Stellar's price in a logarithmic. I wish in school I had studied I remember them teaching me in high school about logs, and I didn't understand it at all, and really didn't until now. Now I'm starting to understand the value of logarithmic and log charts. Anyways, it helps you see when the price moves parabolic. Helps you see it. So just to give you a little background on, for me, when I sort of I owned Bitcoin for a while, but I didn't do anything. Then all of a sudden, in summer, in this summer around here. I started realizing, wow, this is more than just about Bitcoin. There's a whole platform. I started studying, and I was like, I already knew about Stellar, but then I was like, I love Stellar. And I was like, oh, great. It came down to, let's see here, probably even before where's the price in US? This is 28. I mean, yeah, I bought around here was my first buy in Stellar. And I remember, because I think it was like 4 cents, and the next day it fell off a cliff. Because in this chart doesn't show it. This is why logarithmic charts kind of are cool. But it hit 6 cents and it was down to 4 cents. I'm like, well, it's off, right? I mean, certainly wasn't off enough. So just to understand the pain that you can endure, bought some at 4 cents, bought some at 3 cents, bought some at 2 cents. This thing bounced around. I remember this bouncing, and then all of a sudden, is this? Yeah, there was a day where it was below a penny. Yeah, I can never see it on the charts, but I still remember it being 0.008 cents, and then so anyways, we had a good 5 month downturn trend, and so does to me, and look at over here way back in the day, there's a run up here and then this long. They had to rewrite the consensus algorithm. I think this is why it was flat for a long time. Stellar was sort of like rebuilding itself completely, so that's why it was flat for a while. This run up, I don't think anyone knows why it ran up like this. And then 3 to 5 months down, and then the other run up. So again, I predict. So this was five. This was a 5 month sort of lull, and I've been predicting in general, right, 3 to 6 months off of these last highs. So my guess is that it sort of looks similar. It's sort of a 10x of this. This hit a high of 6. On this bubble, we hit a high of 9, but I mean it was close to 6 for most of the time. It came all the way down to 1 cent. So here we come all the way down to 10 cents. Maybe bouncing between 10 and 25 cents here for a few months. And the parabolic move, I think, comes with the big announcement. What is the big announcement that Jed has that he's hiding? Here's my prediction. They're in the second quarter, they are launching the Stellar Exchange. Remember, Jed McCaleb created the first Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox, became the biggest in the world. He knows this business. He's good at making things simple. His goal is to make an exchange that's simple. But what he really wants, and the objective of the whole project, is to get mainstream banks on the network. My guess is that the announcement would be that they have some major bank issuing tokens in fiat currencies on the network. Now, I predict this partly because it makes sense and it's what Jed would like, and also because I'm very hopeful, because if that is the announcement, we're going up 100% again. That would be, once banks start getting on into cryptocurrency, I think they're all going to fall like dominoes. So that would be very exciting for many reasons, and I'm hopeful. So hopefully, and Jed is not a hyper. He's not a guy who's out there pumping his coin. He's very sort of low key. So for him to say a few times, I heard him in a few interviews say he's really excited about this, but he can't talk about it. Whatever it is, it probably is pretty exciting, even if I'm completely wrong. So listen, and who knows when that announcement comes, if it comes out tomorrow. So that's why, although I think it's going to trend down and not do much over several months, hey, next week they could have the announcement and this thing starts going up. On the other hand, maybe 6 months from now you can buy it less expensive. That's why we dollar cost average in. But certainly now, if we look at this in regular, linear, buying it here, now we're getting into a much safer space here. We're off. I mean, it's way off the highs. So I'm not as scared. I feel bad because there was so much momentum, and I was talking about Stellar, and a lot of people probably got in around here. But like I said, my first buy was, right here. So there you go. What else did I want to say? The other thing, just predicting prices. Like I said, it's sort of ridiculous. I'm making this video partly because people love to hear about it, and there's a lot in the news right now about pricing. But I tried to maybe we can predict somehow and look at trends. Here's this Bitcoin logarithmic chart since the beginning. It's like, well, and I spent a little time putting numbers in a spreadsheet. What trend can we see here, right? Look at this. It shot up from this to this. How much did it go up? And then how long was it down? And then it shot up here, and then how long down? And then here. And then I'm like, well, is this 3 bubble and then falls? Or is this all one big one? I don't know. And then, and then again here. So here it comes down and it goes up and then down and shoots up and then down. There's definitely a shoot up, roll down pattern that you see. But after looking at this for a while, I realized, other than the fact that it shoots up and then sort of cups down before shooting up again, there's no pattern. It's like this is like a 2 month downturn. This is almost a 2 year. What did I just hit? What is this? What did I just click? Pricing. Oh, I went to no. Log. I don't know if I hit backspace. I don't know what I just did. Oh God, help me. Bitcoin log. Oh, I got off of transactions. I'm on. This is transactions. No, not cent in US, price in USD. We're back. Um, there's just no pattern. You can't predict. Don't try to predict. And everybody with all the charts, and the only thing you can predict with a chart is that you can tell, even when it's happening, that like when it's right here and it's shot up, like we're on one of these peaks, and that's usually not the best time to buy. You can also tell, and looking at where we are now, look at right here. Well, this is not like if you look at all the downturns, these were pretty small at the beginning in the early days here. Here's one, again, 3 to 6 months, but we have one for 2 years. And right here, you can tell here, okay, this is not a peak here. So this is a better time to buy. If you get another month or two in, it's even better. It looks a little bit more flat. So you can use charts to sort of give you an idea if you're buying at a crazy high or it sort of has been trending lower for a while. But beyond that, anybody trying to predict prices with these charts, I think it's just you can't do it. I mean, it's sort of proven. It is a self-similar fractal that is completely unpredictable. Um, so I think that's all for pricing. If you have any questions, thoughts, let me know. Thank you.